Hello guys, welcome back to my JavaScript interview based question answer series. My name is Balaji Kalandar and currently I am working as a full stack developer. So in our series we have covered two episodes till now. So in first episode we discussed where versus let versus const. So in that episode we explore what is the hosting, what is the temporary dead zone, how the JavaScript internally works because unlike other programming languages JavaScript doesn't run your code line by line immediately. Instead, it works in two phases. So first phase we called it as the creation phase where JavaScript scan your entire code and allocate memory to the functions and variable. And then in next phase JavaScript run your code line by line. So in second episode we have covered double equals versus triple equals. We also it called as the loose equality versus strict equality. So in that episode we explore how the exact difference between double equals and triple equals, what are the edge cases there like null, undefined, and we also have covered there how the JavaScript perform coercion internally. So if you haven't watched those videos, please watch them out. They are really helpful for you. So now in this third episode, we are going to cover another important interview favorite, that is null versus undefined. So these are the empty values mostly confuses to everyone. So in this episode, we are going to cover what the exactly difference between null and undefined. When do you use each, and why the type of null returns objects. So each and everything we are going to cover here. So let's get started now. So now we will see here I have created one a small application and I have collected all the data regarding this null and undefined, and I just structured here. I will show you. So now you can see here I have created small tabs like basics, uh, when we use undefined, when undefined comes, when null, type of bug, comparison, this these things we are going to cover here also, like optional chaining operator and nullish collision operator. We'll play with few examples, then at the end we'll give one quiz, and then there is a cheat sheet what we have to keep things in our mind. So we are going to cover each and everything here. So let's just start from basics. So what exactly null and undefined? Okay, so null is a intentional emptiness, okay, and undefined is a accidental emptiness. So developer says this has no value on purpose, must be explicitly assigned, and undefined is a accidental emptiness. So JavaScript says I don't know what this is, it assigned automatically. Okay, so the one thing is manual and another thing is automatic. Okay, and it is like intentional emptiness means developer do these things explicitly, we have to mention a null value, but Java undefined is a accidental emptiness means developer don't like define or assign undefined to any value. JavaScript internally does these things because what happen exactly whenever you declare variable and you are not assigned value means you are not initialized value to that variable, and before that initialization if you try to access this you will get the value of that variable as undefined because until you initialize the value of that variable, JavaScript doesn't know what type of value you are going to set. So JavaScript for that time for that being JavaScript will give you undefined as a value. Okay, so simplest way to understand is just you can do here by understand this by one analogy. So null, the parking spot exists, it's marks, but you deliberately left it empty. Sign says reserved, no car today. Okay, and undefined is something the parking spot was just created, but nobody told us whether it has a car or not. So status is unknown. So this is the like analogy you can understand. So like basic code example is undefined is like JavaScript assign automatically as we already discussed here. So let x, so you have now here defined x but not assigned value to the x. So if you try to console it, JavaScript will give you undefined. So JavaScript says I don't know it, so what is the type, so I will give you undefined as a value. So this is a like JavaScript implicit value, and null is a developer will assign it. So assign it intentionally. Okay, so here just you let y is equal to null, and if you try to console it, you will get null as a value. So you change to make this value. Okay, so the meaning the both represent nothing but different kinds. So undefined is a JavaScript absence of value. It is automatic, means not its set, and null is a developer intentional absence, because null is the developer intentional absence. It is manually we have to explicitly put null, and it means deliberately empty. Okay, it's on purpose and it's a accidental. You will get a undefined. So in next we will see when does undefined appear. Okay, now you will see when undefined appear, and in next step we will see when null is appear. So like I have also watched many videos on YouTube, but they only cover one to two cases where undefined comes, or where null is comes, but I am going to cover all the almost all the things where undefined appear. So if you see here, like undefined appear sorry, or it's typo, and undefined is appear in five cases. Okay, so first case is uninitialized variable. So when you declare variable, and you just try to print before initialization, you will get undefined. So variable exists in memory but has no value yet. Okay, so this is the first case where you will get undefined. So in second case, like missing function parameter. So when you define function, and at the time of definition you pass one parameter here, and in your function body you just printed or you could just console here, console.log hello name, and you are calling after this function declaration, function definition, we are calling this method here, greet method. Okay, now you just see you miss the parameter to pass into the function. So here JavaScript will not throw any error, unlike other programming languages. Okay, so you will get here hello undefined. So name, JavaScript doesn't know the type of or what value you are going to set. So JavaScript will do here undefined. Okay, so no argument pass, you will get undefined, and if you pass the argument, then you will get hello Balaji. So you can fix this also. You can pass default parameter to functions, like name is equal to guest. So whenever you like miss the parameter, then that default parameter will be considered as the value of that name. Okay, so this is the second case where undefined comes into the picture. Now third case is non-existent object property. So as you know, in object there is a key value pairs are there. So like here you see here we have defined one object here, we called it as user. So here two properties are there. So complete this name, key and value, we called it as a property. For this name we called it as a property name and property value. So property name is, in second here, property name is age and property value is 25. Okay, so here we define two properties, name and age. So these are the object properties. Okay, we have defined here two. Now we are trying to console it user dot name. So user dot name, so you will get here John. Okay, so this is a property exist in object. Now you are trying to console the property which doesn't exist in the our current object. Okay, so user dot email, if you see here, you will not see anywhere email. So you will what you will get here, undefined. Okay, property doesn't exist, so JavaScript internally assign it as a undefined. Okay, console.log user.address.city, you will here get undefined. So save with this operator, we call it as a optional chaining operator. We will see this in later in detail what exactly it is and when we use this. Okay, now fourth thing is function returns nothing. So like in second case we have seen missing function parameter. Same when we like in case 4 we have to see what if function return nothing. So as you see here, function do something, let x is equal to 10. Now here we are not returning any return statement in inside this function definition or function body. Okay, and we are trying to uh, we are trying to do, we are calling here do something, and the result we are assigning whatever the return this do something, we are going to assign this into the result. So as you see here, we are not returning any statement. So what exactly happened here? If you see other languages like programming languages like Java or other, so there you will get error if you try to do these things. Okay, there must you need to type a return statement there if you try to write, or at least we have to define here function void kind of things. Void means return null. Even if you want to return nothing, then also you have to mention void in Java. But unlike other languages, we JavaScript doesn't run it like it works in his own ways. So just see here, now we are not returning any return statement, and we are trying to uh, like we are trying to store whatever do something method returns. So here if you try to log this result, you will get undefined. So same for empty return. If you try, even if you like define this write this return but not like return anything, then also you will get undefined. Okay, so fifth one is array out of bound. So here also this is a famous error in Java or other programming languages. If you try to access the element who not provide who doesn't exist in arrays. Suppose in arrays, like here you see a const array 10 20 30. Okay, so now here three elements are here. So we are accessing this element by using their indices. So in array, indices start from 0 1 2. So 0 1 2, so here only indices up to 2. If you try to access indices 5, so what you will get to error. So in other programming languages, as we already discussed, you will get array out of array index out of bound. Okay, but JavaScript will not throw any kind of error here. You will get undefined as a value. Okay, if you try to access the index which is present, so here you can see array of 0 you will get 10, but array of 5 with that index is not present, so you will get as a undefined value. Okay, so and also if you try to console array of -1, then you will get undefined. Negative index doesn't work in JavaScript. Okay, but still in modern JavaScript, if you try if you want to access with negative index, you have to use this method array dot at, okay, of -1, then you will get last element of array. Okay, so this is the things, never do this. Let x is equal to undefined. Assigning undefined yourself is a bad practice. It defeats the purpose. Use null when you want unintentional empty. Okay, so don't do these things ever, because like JavaScript will not throw any kind of error. But undefined, the purpose is like it's like accidental value, but you can't like intentionally, you shouldn't intentionally give this undefined to any variables. Okay, it is not good practice. Okay, now we will see when does null appear. Okay, as we see, when undefined appears, they are like in five cases undefined is come. So first case is uninitialized variable. Second case is missing function parameter. Third case is non-existent object property. Fourth case is function return nothing, and fifth case is array out of bound. Okay, now we will see when null. So when does null appear? So unlike undefined, null never appears by accident. Okay, JavaScript never create null on its own. It only exists when developer intentionally assigned to it. Okay, so use case first, we will going to see here four use cases where nulls comes into the picture. So first use case is here, reset or clear a variable. Okay, this is very common, when you log in log out. So in after logout, we intentionally do the current user is equal to null. So in that time null comes into the picture. Now you see here, whenever you user login, the current user is like a name, what is the name of that user, what is the role of that user, and when you user log out, you clear it intentionally. So current user you keep the null, then if you try to console it, then you will get null value. Okay, so we clear it on purpose. Now you can check if current user is equal to null, console log nobody is login. So for this login logout purpose, we can use this null value. Okay, here now we are like explicitly assigning value. Okay, JavaScript doesn't like give you this null value. Developer explicitly assign null to this current user, means we have to means here user is no more login. Okay, now second approach is where it is mostly common. This is very useful in while we developing. So API response with no data. Okay, so API response, phone not provided by the user. Phone not provided by the user. If you see user name John, email john example.com, and full null. Here explicitly backend developer or where in like they put null in phone, or whenever you keep the full whenever you like fill the form in browser or in client side, sometimes what happens, some whatever the optional things we are not putting them. Okay, whenever we save this form, that form saved in database, so that time the if the values are not there, then their database will give you a null, or will get null value in that particular cell. Okay, so explicitly no phone address is, but okay, now you will see address is undefined, wasn't even sent. Okay, phone, if you try to access it here, as we uh, phone, if you try to access phone, you will get null because field exists. But if you try to access here address, that is not defined here also, so that time you will get undefined. Okay, so now use case 3 is function returns not defined, function return not found. So whenever you are trying to access user, or try to log in with user ID, if that user ID is not present in our DB, then backend developer explicitly or intentionally says that user ID is not found. Okay, so if you see here a database dot find, so database dot find that user, if user dot id is not equal to whatever we are going to pass id, then if you're not getting user, then backend developer will send this send null as a return. Okay, so here intentionally no user found. Otherwise, if the id is found, then that developer will return the actual user object. Okay, so if you try to result find user 999, if that result is equal to null, console.log user not found, we see this. Now fourth use case, database JSON empty fields. Okay, so JSON from database might have null fields like const record id1 name product a and discount null. Okay, if there are products product list, so some product have discount and some product have no discount. So for no discount, we will get null value there. So no discount, so here intentionally assign null value here. So no discount intentionally null. Okay, or deleted at null. So till now that product is not deleted, so deleted we will assign explicitly null. So these are the four cases where we use null. So first use case is reset or clear variable. It is common while login logout. Second thing is API response with no data. Third thing is function return not found, function returns not found, and fourth thing is database JSON field objects. Okay, now the rule of thumb is here: let JavaScript use undefined for missing things. You use null for intentional emptiness. Okay, so and if you see undefined, then it is a JavaScript job, and null it's a your job. Okay, now we will see one bug here. Type the type of bug. Okay, this type of is a, you can say, one method. By using this you can find out the type of value. Okay, if you pass any value to type of, you will get the what exactly the type of that things or value. Okay, so here this one is like interview trap. This is one of the most famous bugs. This is one of the most famous bug in JavaScript. Interviewers love asking about it. Type of null returns objects, which is completely wrong, because null, undefined, these are the falsy values. So one odd basis we are getting object. This is the big bug. We will see this next. Okay, so type of undefined, you will get undefined. type of null you will get object, so it should be null. So as here we are see, here we can see type of undefined we are getting undefined, but type of null we are getting object, it should be also getting null. Okay, so why does this happen? We'll go into history so that we can understand exactly why we get type of null is a object. Okay, so in JavaScript's early 1995 implementation, values were stored with the type tag in binary. Okay, so objects had a type tag of 000. The null value was represented as a null pointer, so all zeros. So null value we are represented by writing all zeros, and as here mentioned, values are stored with type tag binary. So for object, type tag is 000. Okay, so now type checked the first bits. Okay, so when we apply this method type of, so it checks only first bit. Okay, null's first bit looks like 000, so same as a object. So if you see here, type here type tag for object is 000, and for null, sorry here, so object had type tag is 000, and null values was represented as null pointer, so it also started from 000. So both start from 0, and this type check the first bits only. So null bit look like 000, same as a object. So it returned objects. By the time this bug was found, so by the time this bug was found, millions of websites rely on this behavior. So fixing it would be break the internet. So it stays forward till now. Okay, now we'll see how the correctly check for null. So we have to handle this null correctly. So now just see here, let value is equal to null. If you type here, now if you see here type of broken for null. Now if you see here type of value is, you will get object. Okay, so true, but now you can do here one thing, type of value is equal to object, and value is not equal to null. Many people trying to do these things, but don't do these things. You just do one thing here, like you just use here double equals. Okay, value is equal to null. This is the here what happens here, like if you are using double equal, then as we like in previous video we clear this double equals versus triple equals. If there is a double equals, then type coercion is comes to the pictures, and this is a special case. If you double equals here, you will handle here undefined as well as null value. Okay, so we will see this comparison full type of comparison table here. Now if you like type of undefined, if you returns, you will get undefined. Okay, this is a correct. But if you type of null, you will get object. It is a bug, not an object. It should be a return null. Okay, but type of 42, if you see here 42 is a number, so it is a numeric value, so you will get type is a number. So type of hello, it is a string, so you will get a type of string is a string. So type of hello is a string, so this is also correct. So type of true is a boolean value, so you will get type as a boolean. Type of empty object, it is a object. Okay, and type of empty array, it will give you object. You should use array if you want to here you will get object, but if you want to understand either it is object or array, then you can use array dot is array. Okay, so now you just we will compare comparing null versus undefined. Now just see here, these are the very important small things which we should understand. So null is equal to undefined. So first thing is, so this is a special case in JavaScript. So you will get here true, because null is a false value and undefined as also has a false value. So if you compare, you will get true value, but only when if you use double equals. Okay, if you try to use triple equals, then here both things are going to see first. They will check first here, it will check type, and then it will check undefined, sorry, it will check values. Now if you try to see here null triple equals to undefined, so type of null is object and type of undefined is undefined. So object is equal to undefined, it is not same. Okay, so that you will get is here false value. But if you use double equals, then you will get true. Okay, Now you here see null is equal to false. So here you see here both are false values. Okay, false has false value, null has a false values. But this is a like edge case. You can consider null and undefined only if you compare null and undefined with each other or itself, then only you will get true value. Otherwise if you compare null with another false values like false or zero or inside a empty string, then you will get false only. Okay, so here you will get false. Similarly if you compare zero, that is boolean, if you convert into boolean, you will get false value. But here also you will get false value. Type of null, it is object. Type of undefined, it is undefined. Number, if you convert this null into number, you will get zero. Okay, if you convert undefined, if you try to convert undefined into number, as you know undefined means something which is not stated, so exactly you don't know exactly what type of it. So JavaScript will return not a number. Okay, not a number. If you try to convert that undefined, you will get not a number. So if you do concatenation or here null plus 5, so as null as you as we already see type of sorry if you convert this null into numeric value, you will get 0. So here this conversion is happen, so 0 plus 5 you will get 0. Sorry, 0 plus 5 is a 5. Now if you see here undefined plus 5, now you are trying to add something that doesn't know what exactly. So undefined plus 5, so undefined, type of undefined is not a number. So if you try to add not a number plus 5, so number plus something, so you will get not a number. Okay, obviously if you add a number plus number, then you will get number. If you try to add number plus something that is not number or non-number, so you will get undefined there. So boolean of null, you will get false. As you see it's a false value. Here you see here a double question mark is here. We called it as a nullish collision. We will see this in next step in detail. So if value is null or undefined, then default whatever you write after this collision nullish collision operator, that will be the answer. So high will be the print. Okay, so now we already discussed this null plus 5. This is arithmetic behavior that null is converted into 0. Okay, so now number of null, this method is internally work here. Okay, as we see number of undefined, you will get not a number, so that's why you will get result as a not a number. Okay, the false surprise now, we already discussed this earlier, so but still we'll discuss this. Both are false. Okay, false, boolean of null false, boolean of undefined false, but they don't equal false with null equal to false. Okay, also but undefined is equal to false, it will give you true value. Sorry, undefined is equal to false, it will be false only if you compare null versus null or undefined versus undefined or null versus undefined, then only you will get true. Even all the things has boolean false values, it will not give you true result. Okay, if you compare only null versus undefined or null versus null or undefined versus undefined, then only you will get true value. If you compare null versus false or null versus empty string or null versus 0, then in that case you will get only false value. Okay, this is the edge case you can consider. Now this is a special rule, this is a special rule in JavaScript abstract equality algorithm. As we already discussed this here, null and undefined are only loosely equal to each other. Okay, if you try to use your triple equals, then it will first check type, and type doesn't match because type of undefined is undefined and type of null is a object. So object and null object and undefined are not same, so you will get false value. Okay, and also not 0 false or empty string. If you compare with empty string false or 0, then also you will get false value. Okay, so full comparison reference, you can take a screenshot of this also, it will really helpful for you in further or in future also. So we are going to see this like null and undefined. So here now if you type of if you print here type of null, you will get object. Okay, type of undefined, you will get undefined. So if you pass, if you convert this null into number, you will get 0. If you convert this undefined into, if you try to convert this undefined into number, then you will get a not a number. Then if you boolean of null is a false, boolean of undefined is a false. Okay, both are false values. If you compare null with null, you will get true. If you compare null with undefined, you will also get true. If you compare strictly compare null equal to null, you will get true. But if you compare with undefined, you will get false. Similarly, if you compare null triple equals undefined, then you will get false. And if you compare triple equals undefined with undefined, you will get true. Sorry. Okay. So if you compare null equal to null double equals false, you will get false in both cases. If you compare null equal to sorry, if you compare null equal to 0 or undefined equal to 0, you will get false. If you do concatenation or addition, here what happens, type of null is number, so convert that null into 0, then 0 plus 5 is 5. But type of undefined is undefined, so undefined plus 5 you will get not a number. Okay, so if you try to add something uh, in undefined, it already you will get give you, it always give you not a number. Okay, so we'll see now this modern JavaScripts optional chaining operator and nullish collision operator. Okay, these two operators were added specifically to handle null and undefined gracefully. Okay, they are now essential modern JavaScript. If you see, as you see, there are like weird behavior of null and object, null and undefined. So we have to handle it carefully. So that's why in ES 2020 they introduce optional chaining operator and nullish collision operator. Okay, so optional chaining is a safe access. Whenever you have to access something from object or like a function, then we have to use this optional chaining operator to for safe access, so that you will not get any error or your application will not crash. Okay, this is mostly useful in development. If you use TypeScript or here mostly we use whenever we are getting data from database, we are going to use this optional chaining operator for safe access. Okay, so safely access nested properties without crashing when something is null or undefined. Okay, now you just said just see here, const user is equal to name alias. Okay, only way crashes if address is undefined. Oh, sorry, old way crashes if address is undefined. Now you just see here, we are consoling user.address.city, but if you see inside this user there is no property name address, and if you try to access this address, then you will get error like cannot read properties of undefined, as we saw like in our like when undefined appears. The third use case is where we are trying to non-existent object property. Now you here see this address is non-existent property and you are trying to access it, so you will get here undefined. Okay, and so if you want to you- like here what here you are getting undefined. Yeah, and if you are using it in client side, then if you in web browser it will like application will be crash if you get undefined value. Okay, so we have to like safely access it. So for that we have to use optional chaining. So optional chaining returns undefined safely, so here you will not throw any error. Okay, so console.log user optional operate optional chaining address optional chaining city. So inside user, if address is there, then only it will address will access city, try to city. Okay, if there is a present, only give the things, otherwise give the false values. Okay, there are undefined things. Okay, so also we are using this with array also to access index elements inside function also use here. So nullish collision, so this is the default values. So what if the we are using you are now here you see here we are using optional chaining. If we are simply accessing but the values is not defined or present there, so instead of undefined, what we can print, so that default value, there should be one default value. If that you get undefined from that address like that non-existent property or anything not getting, so for that we are using nullish collision. Okay, these are the for this default values. So return default value only when something is null or undefined, more precise than this pipe operator. Okay, so nullish collision is use default values for null or undefined. Okay, so if the null, you will get default. so default was null, undefined, so default was undefined. Okay, so but if you try to 0 default, you will get 0, not null, undefined. Empty string, you will get same, not null, undefined. False, uh, default, you will get false, not undefined. So if you see here, this nullish collision operator only works for undefined and null. Okay, not like pipe operator. So mini like in mini interview, you will get you will answer you the interview will ask interview will ask the difference, what exactly difference between nullish collision and critical like pipe operator. Okay, so both are like, if you see null value type like value like what we can say, uh, the null, undefined, empty string, 0 or false all have false values. Okay, but this nullish collision only work for null and undefined. But if you work with a pipe operator, then you will get then it will work with all, like null of this empty string, 0, false value, undefined and null. Okay, so here rule is use nullish collision, nullish collision when you only want to replace null or undefined. Okay, and use pipe operator when you want to replace any false value like 0, false, null, undefined, empty string. This is the empty string. Okay, okay, so combining optional chaining operator and nullish collision is a real world use case. So suppose const user is equal to null, so simply you have to access plus default value. So const city, now you just see here, you are trying accessing safely this user. Inside user we are simply accessing address, and inside address we are simply accessing city. Okay, if this value is present, then that value will be assigned into the city, and if that value is not present, then after this nullish collision, whatever we are returning, that will be assigning into the city. Okay, so now if you see here, city console.log.city, now city is not present in this user as user is null, so you will print as a unknown city. Okay, you will get here unknown city. So real API data handling is also similar like this way. So const display name, so user dot profile dot display name, if that display name is that inside if user contains profile, then and profile contains display name, then only we'll get value from database. Otherwise we will print here, or only we'll check name, or only then only we'll pass anonymous. Okay, what happened here, if you see here, we are using twice this nullish collision. So this value is not present, means here if you get false value or like undefined or null, then it will see this expression. Even if you get here also undefined or null, so it will print this anonymous string. Okay, hope so you understand now exactly how this operational chaining operator works and nullish collision operator always work. Now we will just play around with null versus undefined. So you just see here, I have just made one test, live null versus undefined tester. So you just write anything and evaluate. You will just see here, right now we have right here null. So type of, so value of null is null. Okay, type of null is object, type so boolean of null is false, and number of null is 0. So we are covering all these four values, what is exactly value, what is the type of, what is the boolean of null, or what is the boolean of that expression, or boolean or number of that expression. Okay, so type of null is return object, we see here. This is a famous JavaScript bug from 1995. Okay, so use triple equal null to check. You can use you can check it by using triple equals, so what exactly type with of that null. Okay, so now quick test buttons, but quick test buttons, we don't need to write anything here by yourself, or you can write also if you want to know. Okay, I will just write 5 plus 5. Okay, this is a expression. If you do 5 plus 5 is a 10, so what exactly so value is 10. The this is a, you can type here expression, so the type that expression value is 10, that expression type is number, and that boolean value is true, and number is if you convert like type of number is 10, as already it is a number, so you will get here no change here, no changes here. Okay, so similarly if like we see we only like check here only now age cases here. So now you see here we already see now null, now you just see undefined. So undefined, the complete expression value is undefined, type of undefined is undefined, boolean is false value, and number is a not a number. So boolean like number, this method will return like either number or not a number. Okay, so undefined is a not a number, this boolean either you will get false or boolean, so undefined has a false value. We already discussed this problem. So this null, number of null is converted into 0, so 0 plus 5 you will get 5. So the complete expression type is number. So boolean type is true because it is a only if you compare, if you see numbers, only 0 has a boolean value false, other number has a false sorry true value. Okay, so here type of this expression is number also, and the if you convert try to convert into number this expression, number of this expression, then you will get 5. Similarly you will get here null. Here which operator is this, you now hope so understand this. This is a nullish collision operator. Okay, if here null or undefined, then these things will be assigned. Okay, so here you will get default, this type is string, boolean is true value only. Also here for string also we have to keep thing in mind, like only empty string you will get false values, and non-empty string you will get true value. Okay, now see here 0 default. Now you see here like as we already discussed this nullish collision operator only works for null and undefined. Okay, only null and undefined it will give you default value, otherwise it will give you whatever in left side. Okay, so if you want to like handle all the false values, like in boolean there is a false, in numeric there is a 0, in string there is a empty string, and null and undefined. If you handle these five values, false values, then you use pipe operator. And if you want to handle only null or undefined, then you use this nullish collision operator. Okay, we already check here there, this is a strictly equality. So first it will check type, so the value you will get false here. Okay, the complete expression you will get false value. If you false, so boolean of this is a false, if you can try to convert it you will get 0, and type of it is a boolean. Okay, you already see type of undefined here. So type of undefined, and we will get value undefined, type is a string, boolean is true and not a number. Okay, okay, now hope so you understand each and everything. We'll try to test ourselves now. So what does type of null return? Okay, this is a famous JavaScript bug since 1995 we already discussed. So type of null should be written null, but it is written object. Okay, famous bug from 1995, type of null returns objects and can never be fixed. Okay, because till this bug was found, many websites were made on this particular behavior. If you try to fix this, then like maybe internet will break. So that's why they will not fix, and they introduce like nullish collision operator, like that optional chaining operator to handle this case. Okay, what does null equal to undefined? This is another special case. It will print true value. Okay, what does null equal to triple equals undefined? You have to see here which operator we are going to use here. So here triple equals, so triple equals check both type as well as value. So first it check type, if the type is match then it will check value, but if type doesn't match then it will directly give you false value. Okay, so now you know type of null is object and type of undefined is undefined. So object and undefined types are doesn't match here, so you will get false value here. Okay, now what does number of null returns? If you convert this null into number, then you will get 0 value. Okay, as if you convert this null into boolean you will get false value, if you convert this number into null you will get 0 value. Okay, so now what does null this double question mark, we called it as a nullish collision operator, nullish collision operator, default. so what it returns. Okay, so in this left side of this operator null is collision, if here null or undefined value, then only it assign this default value to that variable, otherwise it will give whatever here in this side. Okay, now here null, so it will print a default. Now what does zero nullish operator fallback? As we already discussed, only it supports null and undefined, so here you will get instead of fallback it will get 0. Okay, when should you assign undefined yourself? When should you assign undefined yourself? Never, because it is like in JavaScript, it is it considered as accidental fallback, and it is done by JavaScript. Okay, it will not throw if you assign undefined to any variable or anything, it will not throw error, but it is not bad practice. But it is a bad practice, so it should not do like it should not do never. Okay, so I will never. Okay, if you see here, never assign undefined yourself. Use null for intentional emptiness. Let JavaScript use undefined. So what does null equal to false evaluate to? We already discussed, you will get here. Sorry, it's my mistake. What does null equal to false? As we already discussed, null equal to false evaluate false, because both are false values, but it is a special behavior only if you compare null null equal to null, or null equal to undefined, then only you will get true. Okay, okay, in last, now we'll see what we have covered and what are the important things. So this is a master comparison table. This is you can take a screenshot of it, this is we already discussed, but let's see. Okay, so null undefined, this is important. Who creates it? Null is created by developer and undefined is by JavaScript. So if you type of null is object, it is a bug, and type of undefined is a undefined. If you convert null into number, you will get 0, but if you try to convert undefined into number, you will get not a number. The boolean of null is a false, boolean of undefined is a false. If you compare with if you compare null with null, you will get true, and if you compare null with undefined, you will get true. But here we are using double equals, but for triple equals, it strictly first check a type. If type is doesn't match, then it will false. Okay, so null type is match, you will get true. If you compare null with undefined, you will get false. Okay, so similarly, now if you try to compare null equal to false, so as you know, null only give true value if you compare null equal to undefined or null equal to null, otherwise it will give you false. So if you try to concatenate null plus 5, you will get 5, and here not a number. If you try to JSON stingify null, you will get null, and here removes the keys. Okay, so 5 ways to check null versus undefined. So first, 5 ways to check null and versus undefined. So check only null, so value null equal to null equal, so null sorry, value triple equal to null. To check only undefined, value triple equal to undefined. Check both, value equal to null. Okay, so if you want to check the either the value of type is null, the value is null or undefined, you can use this first one and second one both, or for that both you can use this simple double equal. Okay, value is equal to null, because here it will handle both case null and undefined. Okay, so now we will see perfect answer for perfect interview answer structure for this question. Okay, so if interviewer ask you define let's just explain about null versus undefined, so you can explain in this way. Okay, so first like philosophy, then what how they occurs, then the type of bug, and then equality and the best practice. Okay, so you can see there like undefined is a JavaScript, undefined is JavaScript says I don't know it, and null is developers intentionally empty. Okay, how they occur? Undefined, it's uninitialized array, missing params, no returns, non-existent property, non-existence object property, or array index out of bound. So for that, where undefined is comes into the picture. And type of bug, so if you print type of null, you will get objects. So it is a historical bug from 1995. So unfix, and it is unfixable, as we already discussed this. So user use a triple equals to check. So equality, null equal to undefined is true, but null is undefined. Null equal to undefined is a false, and neither equal to 0, false, or empty string. Okay, as we cover these things in detail. Okay, so null, if you check double equals, then it is true. If you try to use triple equals, then it will check type also. So type of null is object, and type of undefined is a undefined. So type is not match here, so you will get false value. And also, if you try to compare with 0, false, or empty, you will get empty value here. Okay, so best practice is never assign undefined yourself. Use null to clear, and use nullish collision for defaults, and optional chaining operator for safe access. Okay, so undefined JavaScript, unexpected, unknown, uninitialized, null, developers nullify, nothing, nil, never assigned by JavaScript, never assigned by JavaScript. Okay, so let's undefined by JavaScript job, let's undescribe, so let undefined be a JavaScript job, and use null for own job. Okay, so I hope this video is helpful for you. So now in in next episode, like that is our episode 4, we are going to cover what is scope, what is global function, what is a scope, like means what is global scope, function scope, and block scope. So in this next episode, we are going to cover these things, where exactly closer comes into the picture, here. So we'll see this in next video. I hope you find this well. If this help, please like, subscribe, and share to your friends as much as possible. And we'll see now, we'll see the next video.